My parents' friends are dropping dead by the dozens. They're like fucking Hummels on a crooked shelf, just sliding off and smashing. I've been to 2 funerals and 2 wakes in the last 7 months. I'm so sick of renting tuxedos and top hats for these fucking people. That's what I wear. I show the proper respect. I go, oh, fucking Mr. Consoli, I bought a bird feeder off this asshole. He didn't even finish it. Let me look at my gold watch. People don't dress up anymore. My grandmother died. My buddy shows up with a Dustin Pedroia t-shirt on. What the fuck? She's from Italy. She was born in 1885. I don't think she really appreciates a fucking 4-6-3 double play, okay? Fuck face me. I like wakes better than funerals. You know why I like wakes? You get to kneel down next to a dead body like 2 feet away. It doesn't happen that often if you're white. Am I right, folks? It really is. Yeah. Fake white fucking offense. I'd kind of be offended. He said black. You guys do what I do at a wake. You kneel down next to the casket. You pretend you're saying a prayer, but you're really browbeating the body like a psycho for 5 minutes. I stay up there too long sometimes. Even at my grandmother's funeral, my dad yelled from behind. He goes, "Hey, what are you looking for? Signs of foul play? She's 98, for Christ's sake." We found her in the driveway, not John Gotti's basement. Let somebody else stare at her, for Christ's sake. I was staring at my Grammy's makeup. It was horrendous. Apparently the makeup artist that do the Batman movies broke into Peterson's funeral home. She looked like Heath Ledger. Big white, pasty, giant face, fucking big red shit-eating grin. They should have propped her thumb up with super glue to make her look more natural. Don't get me wrong, my Grammy needed the makeup. She was not a looker, you know. In her prime, she looked like a young Bill Parcells, you know. Nice head of gray hair, saggy tits, sweater vest, fucking shitty attitude. Hey, put a headset on Matilda. She'll call a nickel package. Watch, go ahead. And then my buddy's dad drops dead. Don't get sad. Nobody liked him. He's a loudmouth drunk. But I like the kid, so I went to the wake, got to respect, right? And then I'm kneeling down and looking at his father in the casket, and I'm getting irritated. And I'm going, what is bothering me about this picture? And then it dawned on me, every time I met this guy when he was alive, he was in shorts and a wife beater and flip-flops. Now he's in front of me in like a $3,000 Armani suit, $800 shoes. What a phony fuck. That's a waste of clothes. Does Calvin Klein know the shit that he works on for 3 years is going right into the hole to be covered in maggots in 10 minutes? It's a waste of clothes. How about the fucking immigrant digging the hole at the cemetery making $40 a week? He could use a pair of pants, couldn't he? I mean, You know what happens? As soon as the family leaves the cemetery, the immigrant pulls the suit off the fucking guy and brings the casket home, makes a go-kart for his 12 kids. The next day, you look out the window at your neighbor's gardener. He's cutting roses in a Hugo Boss. La camisa, la pantalones, muy bien, eh? All those clothes. You ever think about that? Talk about wasting shit. 1 square of toilet paper. Take off your clothes before they fucking bury you. It's a waste. You guys see a cemetery, you think what? You think dead people. I think Men's Warehouse. You're gonna like the way you look. Well, not in a couple of years, but right now, you're gonna like the way you look. Hey, Billy needs a suit for the prom. Oh, where's my shovel? I'll be back in 20 minutes. What's the big fucking... Cut to Billy slow dancing with his date. He's got maggots on his collar. Who got tonight? Who needs tomorrow? Hey, Billy, his suit smells like shit. Fuck you, it's formaldehyde. My dad got it for me, $11 at Forest Lawn. It's a waste of clothes. I have it in my will. I don't think my wife will do it. I want her to rip my suit off me at the cemetery in front of everybody. Right down to my tidy whities and dump me in that hole. Just like Joe Pesci at the end of Casino. My brother's like, he's still breathing. My wife's like, he's not still breathing. He's fucking dead. That's how I want to go in my underwear. Then we had to go to an estate planner, me and the wife. We're at that age. That's when you go to get your financial affairs in order before you die. I'm at that fucking age. Oh, that ought to take a long time. I've sold 22 CDs in a 30-year comedy career. Hope my nieces and nephews don't break their back picking up that pot of gold, huh? So we go to see these Jews. I mean lawyers, and I mean globalists. I mean lawyers. And this one lawyer hated my guts the minute I walked in. He must have been a big lib. He knows my comedy and shit. Hated me for the whole hour we were in there. He kept using his term. We're talking about dying and wills. He kept using his term, and every time he say, he would point to me with a stern look in his face. He goes, "Let's say you get hit by a bus tomorrow." After like the third time, I said, "Let's say my wife gets hit by the fucking bus and I'm driving it. You want to paint a real picture, counselor?" Yeah, I'm driving it. My girlfriend's sitting in my lap. She's staring. I'm working the pedals because she's 17, doesn't have her license yet. And we're backing over her legs and over and... I go, "Why do you have me getting killed in this story by a bus 4 times? What am I, 80 years old and living in the parking lot of the Greyhound bus station in a tent? What the fuck?" And then he looks at me and asks the big question. Now, Mr. DiPaolo, we had the living will discussion. If your wife was in a vegetative state, would you have a problem pulling the plug on her? And that's when I spit coffee out my nose, my eye holes. I was fucking belly laughing for like 11 minutes. And he's like, "What's so funny?" I'm like, "Well, I tried to strangle her with an extension cord 2 weeks ago." That's sort of like foreshadowing your question, isn't it, counselor? There's electricity involved. Would I have a problem pulling a plug on a woman who fucks me once every 3 months, busts my balls 24/7 into a fine dust, hates my family? I think I could muster up the will to Are you shitting me? I'll be in the basement of the hospital pissing on the generator. Whoops, I spilled another big gulp on the nurse's computer. We got a code blue in the witch's room. I mean, my wife's room, code blue. Everybody... And they asked my wife the same thing. You don't think she feels the exact same way? They said, "Mrs. DiPaolo, would you have a problem if your husband was in a vegetative state pulling the plug on her?" And she's like, "Would I have a problem pulling a plug on this verbally abusive guinea whose showbiz career consists of opening at Fuddruckers and playing co-host 3 times a year?" And a guy who asked me to marry him at my physical peak. I could have blown any hedge fund manager in the country, been set for fucking life. This doesn't take electricity, counsel. Hand me that letter opener. Thank you. My wife better pray that I die first. Because she is the smart one out of the two. I know that's very fucking cliche to say, but it's true. She keeps my books. She was a great accountant, went to school for finance. She's a genius. I can't even work my fucking email. If she dies first, her body is not going to see a cemetery for 6-7 years. I'm going to have her corpse in my garage, leaning against a canoe with a tarp over it. There's going to be squirrels nesting in her ass cracks, spiders in her eye holes, fucking smell coming out of my garage. And I'll be in her office trying to open the dead folder on her computer. And this part is true. She has a folder on her computer. It's for me. It's labeled "When I Die." It's where all the attorneys' numbers are and all the money and shit. I have a folder on my desktop. It's labeled "When She Dies." And you open it up, it's a picture of 3 of her friends I've wanted to fuck for the last 10 years.